Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live feed with Cuddy Sark. We are here at the Warren Miller premiere in Salt Lake City. I'm here with Cam and Connery. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Yeah, we just watched the first viewing of Warren Miller, Daymaker. Wow, what a film, I have to say. It took us all over the world, different places. But we're here to chat about our different segments, which we're all very proud of. But first, we're going to start with Cam.
Oh,
mean,
boy.
you like Haines, Alaska. That is the Super Bowl of skiing. Everyone wants to go to Haines, America.
Haines.
Haines.
I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, Haines. That's what I used to call it when I was younger, but then I realized it was Haines. But I just want to hear, what was it like riding with Ryland Bell, the most OG legend of Haines, snowboarder, and you're a first-timer up there? They threw you right into the frying pan, my friend. How'd it go?
Yeah, I mean, I got a late invitation, not going to lie. It was probably 2 weeks, maybe even less than that, when Ian Anderson called me from Warren Miller. And I got the tap on the shoulder and kind of told me the deal about going up to Haines. And I've seen it in videos for forever, being a kid and, looking up to Travis Rice riding out there and seeing Absinthe films. And then, when you finally get to Alaska, it's kind of like, oh man, we're here. It's vast. It's scary. I was, to be honest, so scared the whole time. And I think it is literally the pinnacle of every skier and snowboarder's career. And it's definitely where the big dogs eat.
Cheers,
I say
cheers
it in the
to
movie.
that. Cheers
I
to
say
that.
it in the movie.
Pinnacle.
I got a question for you. In your first line, I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone that hasn't seen it, but in your
It's
first
called Caffeine Rich.
in your first line, you
Careful.
have a pretty gnarly crash. Were you as scared for Alaska as you thought you'd be, or was it more intimidating standing on that peak for the first time? Because everyone's first run in Alaska is different. I was uber freaked out, and I didn't realize how gnarly it was. What was that for you?
I mean, it was crazy. In the movie, we got to Haines. We were on the ferry, and it was dumping. And I was like, oh, we're going to have a bunch of down days. It's kind of classic, just thinking, oh, we're going to sit down Alaska for a couple weeks and maybe get out in the bird. But we went up first day and got thrown on that caffeine line, is what they call it. And Ryland actually...
Not whiskey, caffeine.
Yeah, no. I wish I had a little Cuddy Sark up there, not gonna lie. Ease the nerves a little bit. But no, so it's funny. Ryland actually was gonna ride that line that I rode, and then we last minute just switched. He was like, oh, I think I'm actually gonna ride up here. And I was really looking forward to Ryland riding and seeing how it all goes, because I've never ridden anything like this, and the scale was just on a different level.
Yeah, there's no trees to compare how big everything is.
I mean, you're at the top, and I've always heard it from people saying it's like the AK or the AK heebie-jeebies. You can't.
Yeah, you can only see 3 feet in front of your tips.
And you see the heli way down there.
It's microscopic.
Microscopic. But yeah, we switched lines all of a sudden. So all of a sudden, I'm going first, and it's the first line that we filmed, and it had snowed probably. I think.
And then boom. Okay, we can't ruin it, but
we
something
can't ruin
happens.
it. But it snowed probably 3 feet the last 48 hours before we got there. And I kind of knew it was going to crack, and we're not going to spoil it, but it was one of the most intense spiders of moving snow I've ever seen in my life. And then, I was on a board that I'd never ridden before, was super set back and just hauling, trying to get away from this beast. And actually after that, it kind of was cool, because it was all right, well, I guess that just happens. And
Worst case scenario.
You got to be ready for it. First run. And then it was kind of just fun. It was kind of cool to get back on the horse after that. And whatever.
Yeah, you got it out of the way, and then Ryland came down behind you. I mean, I've stood on top of caffeine. I was there at the same time. I knew the avalanche conditions. I saw your guys' lines from the helicopter hours later, and we're like, oh my goodness. And thankfully, we were able to see it on film, and you getting out safely. So
yeah,
it was heavy.
Flying air chair.
Haines will always be that pinnacle of our film careers, and we love it. And you mastered it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll
to
come back to this Alaska, but Connery, Connery is the grass skiing master, and I have so many questions for you, because we just watched a good 5 to 10 minutes of grass skiing. I didn't know this was a thing.
A lot of grass skiing.
Okay, so first of all, let's just start in the past. What is the history of grass skiing?
It's actually funny. I got a call this summer from Chris Patterson, director and filmer of Warren Miller.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of July, and he's like, "Yo, dude, do you want to go film a grass skiing segment in Switzerland in 1 month?"
What was your reaction?
Never heard of grass skiing in my life before, and I said yes. Of course.
So were you imagining like normal skis, or you were like, what were you imagining?
I honestly thought it would be pretty intuitive, like grass skiing, maybe like rollerblading or riding a bike. Turns out not the case at all. Like we show up the first day, we're in like the most beautiful place in Switzerland, the Lauterbrunnen Valley, Murin. There's waterfalls cascading. It's a postcard, and we have no proof of concept. Like I don't know how these skis work. I've never been on them.
To give you guys some reference, they're like maybe more closer related to rollerblades.
Yeah? Like grass skiing is an old sport that started, I think, in Switzerland, and they still
how old? Like how?
Like 40, 50 years old.
No way.
You basically have
I've never seen it.
Short skis that you slide on grass, and they've got a track, and they don't turn well. You can't stop. It's terrifying.
I mean, I was just like remorsefully like saying graces and prayers for your quads. Like, how were your quads feeling after like a T to B run on these?
He's ripped. Look at these. Look at
and
these
also
bad,
like
look
the
at these bad
impact.
chickens.
Like you're doing tricks. Had you done it before this? This is first time.
No, like literally our first day filming, we show up to this like super steep slope. I'm looking at it like, this is probably not the best way to start out. I try to make one turn off the start. I fall on my face. I break the first pair of skis, and we're all just scratching our heads like, all right, back to the drawing board. So basically
you had no warm up?
No,
like no warm up. They didn't even let you like kind of like.
They were not playing it soft for me.
Black diamond instantly, like no blue, green, black diamond.
Like black diamond right off the start. They're like, he's a good skier.
Dodge the cows.
So then we went to what would be considered a bunny slope for grass skis. I figured it out, and things progressed.
We progress. You progress immensely. Like then you're sliding boxes and
Dude,
rails.
you made it look so good.
So easy. I was like, this is the future of skiing. Like, is this the future of skiing?
One of my favorite segments.
It is not the future of skiing. I think I hope that's not the message that comes from it, because grass skiing is quite terrifying. Turns out grass is a lot firmer than snow.
I mean, how's your brain after that? It's like rattling, right?
Well, like my neck hurts because I didn't let my head hit the ground, but every other muscle had to tense up in order for that to happen. So,
okay, so is
I
there
don't
like
know
grass?
that it's the future of skiing.
Is there grass snowboarding in the future?
Honestly, when I see that, and have you guys ever hit the water ramps at Park City?
Yeah.
Like I can barely edge on that. Like I can't even imagine doing that.
I don't want to see
you
do that.
Rollerblading or whatever.
See you do
well,
that.
I think you need poles too, right? Like
you do need poles. It was actually funny because you're so high off the ground. The grass skis are they're very archaic. Like they're tall and awkward and heavy, and you need like these balance beams. You need poles to like not fall over.
Okay, so what's the hardest part? Was it like turning, jumping, like the hop turns? Like what is the hardest move grass skiing?
You cannot stop.
Okay.
There's no brakes.
So you have to fall to
No
stop?
pizza, only French fries.
Pizza, ACL gone.
Okay. Wow.
You slide onto your
future.
hip, you might hit a rock. So you really need to really see ahead of you and understand where you can start to slow your speed and turn uphill. And that was the crux of
turning uphill.
Turning uphill.
Like full circle, maybe?
Not full circle, because they don't pull that sort of radius.
Okay.
I wish they did.
Hey,
right,
tell the folks listening in and watching this live stream about how to backflip a grass ski.
Yes.
I guess grass skis. Sorry, plural. How'd it go? Walk us through that.
In this segment, I think I tried the first ever natural takeoff backflip on grass skis.
That's a claim.
Turns out that is not a thing at all. Like, did not work, and won't try it again.
This cup says you can discover a new ocean until you have the courage to leave the shore. And I think grass skiing is definitely the courage to leave the shore. Can we drink to that?
You know what?
I'm getting to that.
Cheers. Cheers.
Right.
I'm impressed, man. You made that segment look so good. And,
No, you actually made, like,
impressive.
I want to buy grass skis and, like, go to Switzerland in the summertime and try it. But then I also know where I've, like, done some shale skiing on a hike. And it's a miserable. You, like, if you eat it or catch a toe, you're going to the bottom and you're taking like brutal wipeouts, dirt all up in the teeth, maybe. I mean, you're a legend, man.
Yeah,
Like
you made it
like,
look good. I think
pioneering.
Switzerland should be proud.
Oh yeah, how'd those
The newest
farmers
star.
feel? Like, what'd the farmers say?
I mean, I think that was the coolest part of being in Switzerland in the summer was it is literally the grass skiing mecca of the world because we showed up and, you know, Switzerland is famous for their cheese. Cows make the cheese. Cows eat the grass. Farmers cut the grass.
Did you ever feel like a wheel of cheese going down the mountain?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was totally a piece of cheese after that shoot, but
Oh man. Well, hey, Lexi, I know you've been just asking the questions, and we're gonna come back to the grass skiing if we have time, because we have so many questions. And wait till you see the segment; it is insane. It's one of my favorite segments of the whole movie. But there's a lot of segments of the movie, and they're all kind of different in their own ways. And I feel like your segment, Lexi, I mean, you got kind of the last minute call, and like you were just in the right place at the right time,
Absolutely,
and kind of
yeah.
talk about us, like walk us through that situation.
Yeah, so we had just Hedvig and I had just completed like the kicking horse contest, which I was so excited to go to Kicking Horse for the Freeride World Tour because it's like Mecca, right?
that's a fun venue.
Yeah, that'd be rad. And then we show up, and it turns out they had a massive wind event that had taken boulders the size of our head off the top of the mountain and actually destroyed the media tent. So like all the snow got swept off the resort, and I was like, wow, I didn't think it could get worse than Europe. And then all of a sudden the snow was way worse. And then after this, we run into Katie Burrell, who obviously wanted to give a shot on freeride skiing and the Freeride World Tour.
She's hilarious, by the way.
She's hilarious. I'm so proud of her. She's a genius. Someone to figure out a way to make it into a Warren Miller film as a comedian influencer. She's got the equation on lock. And she's very fun to be in the mountains with. So then she asked Hedvig and I, she's like, do you want to go heli skiing in the backyard in Revelstoke in like 2 days? And Hedvig's staying at my house in Revy, and we're like, heck yeah, we want to go.
I mean,
And we scored. We just
why
had like
not?
1 day. Fall Bluebird, Epic Alpine, Eagle Pass. I've said this again and again. Eagle Pass is one of the best heli operators in the world. It's
I've
4
heard that.
people, and they just let you go wherever you want to go. I mean, within borders and like precautions, but more so than anywhere else I've been.
well, I just felt like when I watched your guys' part, it was just one of those like eye-opening things of seeing like the female ski action sports and like skiing. Like you guys were really taking it to like the next level, like hitting some pretty big drops, hitting some cool spines.
Lexi's a badass.
I mean, I've known Lexi DuPont's a badass the whole time, but dang.
Oh, thanks,
That
guys.
was
And
awesome.
I'll just like put in a little slip here. Like after that segment, Hedvig and I were like, how could we create a contest that's actually really sick? I mean, Freeride World Tour is so sick, but it has great conditions. And so we've created this event called the Sister Summit. It's happening at Mustang Powder on November 24th. It's
Coming
the
up.
first all-woman ski and snowboard backcountry event.
Cheers to that.
Cheers at Mustang Powder Cats. And if you watch
Is
the
there going to be
closing
Cuddy Sark
segment-
up there? That's the
I mean, Cuddy Sark, we need you. Sponsor.
Let's do it. No, that's awesome. I mean, that's coming up too.
It's coming up. We just want to give an opportunity to like those younger shredder females to like have entrance into the backcountry. We need it because girls are ripping, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are really good idols, and I think you're bringing up the right generation.
Thanks. And then we'll go to Haynes. And then we might even have a grass skiing segment, or contest. I mean, who knows? You showed us.
You'll have exactly 0 entrants in that contest. I promise you.
Did you?
0.
I just want to know. I want to see a fall, like a crash reel
Yeah.
from Switzerland.
Absolutely.
Like,
Where's
can
the
we
that
get
grass?
that
exists.
going? Can we?
That
I don't
does
know.
exist.
I wish
It's
we
out
could
there.
get that going
It does.
because that might be probably the best one I'd probably will ever see.
Yeah.
And do you want to relive that?
It was a fun segment to shoot just because the locals were behind it. We had the farmers inviting us to ski their farms. Like
They
you couldn't
love
do
you.
that in
They love
America,
you.
Like they don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. Like it's just like a total like
Experiment.
what is grass skiing? You guys will have to find out in the
Yeah.
movie. And
So many things popped in my head when you said, what is grass skiing? Like, it could go in so many directions.
I think I don't even know
autographs.
if people knew what was going to hit them when that segment kind of opened up. Like you're on this peak and there's like a nice aerial view of Switzerland and they're like, okay, where's the snow come in? And it never does. And I think that's just like, that's pretty epic. I think it's cool.
it's just cool to have something totally different and it feels like everything in skiing's kind of been done almost. It's not
Totally.
true, but it's
No.
It's
new.
grass,
it's fresh.
grass
it's
skiing part
refreshing.
two. Grass
It's
skiing part
refreshing.
two. I think
you could do a whole film
I need
on it.
I need some
I'll-
fellow athletes.
I'll give it. I'll give it a
might
whirl.
Try it. What do you try, Kim?
I would try it.
I mean, why not? We got to try it. Kim, okay,
Discussion.
what was your favorite part in Haines this spring? Like Northern Lights,
oh
orcas?
gosh,
like,
yeah. Actually,
or was it a line, or was
that's
it
crazy
like
you say that
crew?
because I live in Jackson Hole. I grew up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and we don't really see the Northern Lights ever, and I don't know if you guys do really, but I've always heard about it up there, and then especially being in Haines, being kind of like in this secluded area of Alaska, and being right on the harbor, and you can really see. I mean, there's no lights out there, and one night it was the most incredible experience seeing the Northern Lights with Chris Patterson and Colin, our drone pilot, who's amazing. Shout out.
Shout out to the filmers,
yeah,
everyone. Right?
shout out to the
Shout out
filmers.
to the filmers.
But yeah, I think that was one of my favorite parts of being there, and I think seeing so many eagles, like it's incredible. They're everywhere. I mean, it's
bald eagles are
insane.
the bald eagles are like pigeons there.
I
No,
know.
they call them dumpster chickens.
Oh God.
Dumpster chickens. Wow.
Dumpster chickens for the bald eagles. I mean, so Haines, Alaska is the largest eagle migration in the world. And these aren't normal eagles. Like you see them
Huge.
downtown by the dumpsters and they're like here.
And she's
here.
like she's like 6'1", I think.
Oh yeah, easily 6'1".
Just anyways, no.
No, yeah, but no, they're large, man.
Yeah.
Like scary.
They are. And I think just the experience of being in Alaska, like, and seeing you guys, like the whole crew, everyone was out there,
It's a
there was-
migration. It's an annual migration of like the most hungry. Maybe not the
Dumpster
most.
chickens?
Yeah, dumpster
most
chicken.
hungry dumpster chicken.
Yeah, you can call us that.
Oh
I like
God, I
that.
don't know if is that illegal
Snow
to say?
dumpster chicken.
That's the name of your next ski movie.
Dumpster chicken, grass skiing.
No, it was an eye-opening experience. Oh God, we're going far out there. No, I don't know.
Haines is special.
Haines is a special place, and it has so much history. And I don't know, how many times have you been out there? Have you been out there?
This
Connor?
is a shocking 13 years.
Holy
I mean, I know. Yeah.
OG over here.
13.
That's
and I'm-
amazing. That's
it's-
amazing.
yeah, it's just lucky, but also a commitment. Like I sold my soul to that place after the first year. I was like, I'm gonna come back every year, no matter
I mean,
what.
that's
Even if
kinda-
I'm like hitchhiking for a heli seat.
That's kind of how I felt when I left. I mean, being from more of like a freestyle background of, coming up from Jackson, hitting a lot of jumps. Like I've always been in that kind of aspect of riding, and like going to Haines and riding with Ryland, like he just wanted to ride the steepest stuff all the time. And it was awesome. I mean, it pushed me and I was scared the whole time, but I really want to go back. And I feel like once it's all like, it all clicks and all the puzzle pieces, align, go back and like really try to do like more freestyle stuff out there. I mean, the train is endless and it's so cool. I mean,
I think, my piece of advice for Haines, and Connor, you're coming with us, bro.
I'm listening. I'm
You're
listening.
Okay, so my piece of advice is, this is what Reggie Chris always says. You must be present to win. So if you want to crush Haines, Alaska, you have to like commit a month and go hang out and be okay with drinking whiskey,
Yep.
sitting on the side of the bay,
I'll cheers to that.
right?
I
I'll
actually
cheers to
did
that.
And not skiing, and
a
you're drinking
fun-
whiskey,
fun
and
little
you're loving that.
thing with Cuddy
But
Sark
then,
out there.
when it goes blue, like you got to be ready to go within like 10 minutes on the best line of your life.
Yep. I mean,
Do you
it gets
think-
real.
Do you think in your 13 years there, you've seen consistent progression in your skills in Alaska, like being comfortable, or have you ever felt like you hit a plateau or gone even down, or how has that worked? Like Alaska takes more than a lifetime to figure out.
Oh,
I mean-
absolutely. I think, every year you get more comfortable, right? You learn more. I think wisdom becomes a big player when you're out there, and experience. Like you can't be experienced enough. That's what Carl Fosfet said. Like that's the most important thing. But at the same time, I had this one year where it was Tatum Minode, Michelle Parker, and myself. And it was the first time we had, power crew. First time we had all girls in the heli. And all of us have said that's the best we've ever skied because we were able to encourage each other. Sometimes I feel like when women are in a heli with a bunch of dudes, they might come up with excuses, or the guys like overpower the situation. They're like, I want that line. And you're like, okay, I'll take this one. We have girls that's like, okay, that one's for you. This is for me. This is how, and you push each other. That was when it plateaued. But then you have some years where you get completely screwed. because the weather is the biggest factor.
Yeah.
As we heard,
Yeah.
And you have to know that you could go up there and come back, like put a bunch of money into the heli and come back from the season and not have gotten a single day in the helicopter. You have to be okay with that,
I mean, it is rolling at ice, and I learned that. And like, we had great weather, and it's so crazy when it snows a bunch and you're like having a great time, and then all of a sudden 100-mile-an-hour winds come in.
Oh my
and
God,
you're sitting at the bar like it's bluebird skies, and you're
and
like,
the
wait,
snow is gone.
aren't we supposed
no,
to be
we
out
were
there?
shocked. Remember, you flew back out, and it
Yeah.
was like
And I was
this
like,
deep the
no.
day before, and then like this deep the next
Yeah, and I was
day.
like, I know we can find
so
little
sad.
pockets, and it just got.
you kind of want to cry.
I promise that doesn't happen with grass skiing. The grass stays there when the wind blows.
So, dude,
No,
it's
Connery,
consistent.
you're coming with us, you guys. How about the three of us go?
New segment coming out.
Chicken
new
dumpster
segment.
grass ski.
Look out next year, Warren Miller, Cam, Connery, and Lexi in Haines, Alaska. But we're gonna start it out with some grass skiing, so our legs are conditioned. Then we're gonna go to Haines, and then we'll be here drinking some Cuddy Sark whiskey with you all fine people. So cheers, guys.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
mean,
think?
I'm not gonna lie. These things make some pretty good old fashions, and I'm a bartender. I
Cheers.
they're pretty good.
I'm into this. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Warren Miller. Thank you, Cuddy Sark. Everyone, thank you, Cam. And thank you, Connery.
Thank
Oh my
you,
gosh.
Lexi. That was great.
Thank